Blessed to be part of your day from Ed's 50s Cafe here in Meridian, Idaho. Coming up, we're going to talk to our friends from the PBR and looking forward to hearing all about the professional bull riders coming to the Ford Idaho Center this weekend and really embracing the Western lifestyle. In addition to that, we'll hear the latest from Matt O'Brien, who joins us now from the Federation for American Immigration Reform. We'll speak with Matt. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
You know, always appreciate the great work that y'all do at FAIR. Appreciate y'all having us every year to holding our feet to the fire, their feet to the fire. Can you tell us a little bit about this convoy coming to town? Is there trouble at the border?
Well, I think there is trouble at the border. These convoys are sort of the latest thing by the Open Borders lobby to try and draw attention to the immigration situation and sort of flip the script by claiming that all of these folks who are leaving other countries have some kind of an affirmative right to enter the United States as refugees or asylum seekers, which is not completely accurate.
Let's talk a little bit about how accurate it is, Matt. Sorry to interrupt, but you hooked me with that, not completely accurate. Could you expand on that, please, sir?
Sure. Well, under the 1951 UN Refugee Convention, states who are parties to that convention are obligated to evaluate the asylum claims made by people who allege that they are fleeing persecution, but they don't have to be formally admitted to the country and allowed to stay, particularly if they don't have valid refugee claims. The other big issue that comes up in context here is since Mexico and Guatemala are both signatories to the Refugee Convention, they have an obligation to evaluate these people's claims, and if they are indeed refugees, offer protection, but they don't appear to be doing that. They appear to just be waving these people through and heading them toward the United States.
What are the consequences of that happening?
Well, there's a number of consequences. Obviously, the most frightening is that we send a clear message if these people are able to get to the border that anyone who shows up is going to be welcome. I think, one of the reasons that we're seeing this particular caravan is because of the fact that the Trump administration backed off of the zero-tolerance policy largely because of the optics of supposedly separating children and families.
Of course, we heard that because we have so many people in the media that continue to play that hit again and again and again.
They do, and I mean, if you think about it, it's really silly because anytime someone is arrested here in the United States, and the majority of those people are U.S. citizens because U.S. citizens still make up the bulk of the population of the U.S., those people are separated, and yet when it is a U.S. citizen that has committed a serious misdemeanor or a felony crime, no one worries about them being separated from their children. The other big issue at the border is a lot of these people who claim to be family units are not. Smugglers have figured out that children constitute a get-out-of-jail-free card as far as being admitted to the United States and allowed to roam freely within the U.S. So very frequently what you see is people smuggling children while posing as family units. And, of course, that raises issues both about the integrity of the border and the safety of the children who are apprehended by the Border Patrol with people claiming to be their parents.
Well, why can't we just let everybody in? I know you're going, gosh, that's the softball of the day, Kevin Miller.
Well, I mean, most of the world is not as nice as the U.S., and there are billions upon billions of people on the face of the earth who are living in conditions that are not quite as good as we have it here. And as a practical matter, we just don't have the space or the resources to admit them all to the United States. So the answer is to help those people in their own countries become more like the U.S., not to allow them all, when they become dissatisfied with the system of government that they have, to just come here, cross the border illegally, and stay.
What can be done?
Well, I think the first and most obvious solution is to build the wall that President Trump has been talking about. FAIR has said for years that we need a physical barrier on the southern border. And if you think about it, we have fences around our property to keep our neighbors out. We don't hate our neighbors. We just want to make it clear where the boundaries are. And so what a physical barrier does is it makes us proactive rather than seeing a sensor get tripped and having to ship Border Patrol agents off to try and catch those people maybe in thousands of square miles. When you have a physical barrier, you're keeping people out. If they manage to breach the wall, you know where that's happened, and you can have people in the places where that is likely to occur ahead of time. It also has the effect of like a toll booth on a highway. If you think about it, when you're driving along, you get funneled through the toll booth, and you don't have any choice except to pay the toll if you want to keep driving. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that in order to get into the country, people have to show up at lawful ports of entry and face the immigration inspectors who work for CBP rather than just walking across an invisible line in the sand in the middle of the night when no one is likely to find them.
Well, all very good points here on KIDO Talk Radio. Matt, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And, by the way, we always want people to support FAIR. Coming up next, our great friend Kieran Donahue with a very special guest from the Professional Bull Riders. Sheriff Donahue, you're going to have to scoot over here, and we'll have you in the middle, sir. Sheriff Donahue enjoying a great breakfast at Ed's 50s Cafe in Meridian, Idaho. And we hate to pull the sheriff away from his culinary duties, but you know, that's why you're here. Good to have you with us, Sheriff Donahue.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Really glad to be here again, and it's always a nice welcome. And of course, it's a great place to do an interview at Ed's Cafe. It's wonderful food here.
Right. And who do we have with us today, sir?
We have Cody Nance from the PBR, and Cody's just got in last night from Tennessee.
Tennessee. What part of Tennessee?
Paris.
Paris. See, I lived in Fairview, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, over by Dixon. I don't know if you know that. Yeah.
Yep. Dixon's about an hour from me.
Yeah, I love Dixon.
Well, it's nice.
Then I'm going to get in trouble because I'm talking too much about a place outside of Idaho. Sorry, Sheriff.
No, that's all right.
Cody, tell us a little bit about what it's like to ride a bull, number one, and you've been involved in this terrific, demanding sport since you were 14, sir.
Well, you can come out to the Idaho Ford Center this weekend, and you can try it out yourself.
Sure.
Yeah?
No, I feel sorry for the bull. I think he's talking to you folks, not me physically. But anyway, Ford Idaho Center this weekend, lots of action.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We have the top 35 guys in the world coming there to ride bulls this weekend, and you'll see some of the greatest animal athletes lined up that we'll match up against. They're the top 35 out of 5 countries compete, and it'll be Canada, Mexico, Australia, and Brazil. And, it's good. It's fun. It's exciting. You get to see us get thrown around like rag dolls and sometimes make a really good ride. And, so either way, you're going to get some excitement out of it.
Well, at your expense, and I hope not, sir, but can you tell us what it's like to be on the tour? You're from Paris, Tennessee, but you're here in Meridian, Idaho. And, I mean, planes, trains, and automobiles and bull riding.
That's it. Yeah, they're our friends. They're our transportation. They get us around. It's sure nice to get home and get in the bed and stay there for a few days, but really that's all we get is a few days, maybe a week, and that's if we get to get home. It's a busy tour. We go pretty much year-round. Our finals is coming up here in a few weeks in Las Vegas, and so that'll wrap up this season for 2018, and there'll be smaller events that we can go to right outside of that, but ordinarily we'll have about 27, 30 stops.
Now, the PBR, I'm sorry, Sheriff, I'll let you get in here in a minute. Oh, you're having a piece of bacon. All right. That's theater of the mind, folks. He's focused on the mission here. But, you take a look at the PBR, and it is so prestigious. You have CBS Sports covering you. We have CBS Television covering you. It continues to grow and grow. You've got the finals coming up. Mm-hmm. How does that help your enthusiasm as an athlete, as a rider?
Well, as an athlete and a rider, it makes it exciting. It makes it worth going. We have some of the greatest backing in the world. We got Cooper Tires, Wrangler, area, all these different sponsors that they support us in what we do, and of course we couldn't do it without the fans. So make sure that everybody gets out there and sees what we do, and they say if it's their first time, it's usually not their last. So we try to do our job and hope everybody gets a good experience out of it.
Indeed. Sheriff Donahue, what does this mean to not only your jurisdiction, Canyon County, but the Treasure Valley and the state of Idaho? People from all over the West are coming here this weekend.
Yeah, really, and like Cody said, there's only so many stops on the tour, and this is the Built for Tough Series tour. This is the top of the game.
Monster Energy Tour now.
Monster Energy Tour now. Excuse me.
You gotta know.
You gotta know your stuff. I keep thinking Fort Idaho.
It's all about jurisdiction,
right? But the fact is, these are the greatest bull riders in the world, and so for Treasure Valley to experience that, to have one of the tour stops,
sure,
it's a huge economic gain for the county. For the area, for Treasure Valley, and the prestige that goes along with it. And like Cody said, they're nearing the end of their tour, so the World Finals are just literally around the corner, a couple of weeks away. And they're watching these guys. They're watching every single one of them, seeing where they're going to land in those World Finals. And then when they get to the World Finals, there's a lot of money up for grabs and a lot of points. And that's what it's really about for these guys to become the world champion.
Absolutely. The world champion is the ultimate goal. That's what we're all chasing. That's $1 million bonus for the guy that's going to come out on top at the end of the year. This event here will pay $35,000 to $40,000 for the winner. It's very prestigious. It's a big event. It's the biggest bull riding you can go to in the world right now.
What is it? How does
weekend.
And Cody, every place is special, and you're on the tour and you're getting ready. What is there anything that stands out when you come to Idaho? The idea of being here, the fans. Here at Ed's 50s Cafe, what does it mean to come to Idaho? Does Idaho have any type of reputation on the tour?
Well, I've had some good events here. I've really enjoyed this event thoroughly throughout the years. People really do get into it here. I enjoy a crowd that really gets pumped up and excited about what we do. It just makes our job more fun. It excites us. It makes the bulls buck harder. It makes us try harder.
Wait a minute, hold on. On KIDO Talk Radio, you're saying it makes the bulls buck harder?
I feel like whenever the crowd really gets energetic,
is that a good thing, sir?
I feel like that energy it'll transport into the bulls and it'll transport into us. It just good energy all around. That absolutely, we want them bulls to buck. If they don't, we don't get a good score.
Unlike when you're riding horses with me,
I rode one horse once, and she's still in rehab. Yes.
Yeah, we'd rather have them walk or stand still. Cody's in a little bit different category,
right.
Just saying.
Yeah, thanks for that reinforcement, Sheriff. I appreciate it. More coming up next from Ed's 50s Cafe on KIDO Talk Radio. And continuing on, talking about the PBR, Sheriff Donahue with us. Sheriff Donahue, a big event coming up. Obviously, the Man Up Crusade, very important to you.
Yeah, the Man Up Crusade. This is a great weekend for us. The Man Up Crusade is a public awareness campaign on the issue of domestic violence, and we are a strong partner, or I should say the PBR is a strong partner with us. This is our third or fourth year with the PBR, and so Saturday night is actually Purple Night with the PBR, Man Up Crusade night. We're going to have a lot of things that we're going to highlight that night, from the opening ceremonies on through. A lot of the bull riders will be in purple, the stock contractors, shoot help. A lot of people will be in purple, celebrating solidarity against the issue of domestic violence. So if you're coming to the PBR on Saturday night, wear purple. There'll be a lot of it in the crowd and a lot of it in the arena, and the whole idea is just that our partnership is showing, look, we can stop this epidemic of domestic violence throughout our society.
Cody, that is so important, that message that's being sent. What does it mean to be a professional bull rider? When you are in the civilian world, when you're home, and people ask what you do for a living, what's their reaction?
They usually think we got a screw loose, and maybe a little out there.
You should be used to that, Kev.
You're in good company, sir.
Well, they say if you want to be a bull rider, you just fill your mouth with marbles, and every time you get on a bull, when you get off, you spit out a marble. When you've lost all your marbles, you're a bull rider.
Nice.
But it means the world to me, because growing up I wasn't able to do it for a long time. I wanted to do it ever since I was 2 years old, but I had to wait till I was 15. So now that I'm 30, pushing 31, and I'm still able to do it, and I'm just very thankful that I'm still able. My body is held up. I've been very blessed.
What's the physical cost for you, sir, and the bull riders? You do this. We are joking about we want the bulls fired up, the more they buck and such. And for those of us, those are words. For you, something entirely different. It's an experience.
Well, for me, it's my job. This is what I do for a living. This is what I've been doing for the last 10 years on this tour. I've been 10 years consecutively with the PBR and qualifying to the PBR finals, and so that's how I take care of my children, my wife, and my family. You know, this is like your career. This is mine. And if the bull doesn't buck, then I don't get paid, you know, or I get a reride. I have to get on another one. I want that bull to go out and do his job. I want to go out and do my job. I want us both to be able to accomplish what we set out to do when we loaded in that buck and shoot. And, you know, we tie our hand in that rope, and we have that mentality that, you know, we don't quit till the job's done, you know. So whether our head hits the ground or the buzzer blows first, we're going to hang on.
Physically, the demands of the job, the injuries.
Physically demand. Well, I've broken my arm, broken both wrists, multiple stitches, concussions, broke my leg, broke a couple ribs, lacerated my lung. I due for a hip replacement today. Yeah, there's a lot of physical demands. I've broken things that I didn't know about. So, I mean, it's just part of it, a little wear and tear.
A little wear and tear, but still, I think you have a concept of pain that most of us will never know. Is it worth it?
Absolutely. You know, whenever I was 2 years old and wanted to do this, you know, my mom, she wasn't excited about it. When my stepdad, he's the one that got me into it. He talked her into letting me go and ride, and that was the first time. He told her I would probably just get bucked off and stepped on and changed my mind, wouldn't want to do it no more, but it worked out. I rode the first two I got on that night, lost my rope, fell off my third one, and I was hooked. I was like, no, I didn't accept that, and I still don't. And so I guess until that mentality goes away, I'm going to stay hooked.
Indeed. Sheriff Donahue, when you hear Cody talk about his experiences and the pain, we're looking right at him, we're hearing him on the radio. What goes on in your mind?
I think it's just incredibly respectful that they do this for a living, and that shows the commitment and the attitude that they have, the confidence, and that you can overcome serious injuries, you can overcome obstacles to follow your dream, to have that dream of becoming the world's best at what you do. I have nothing but respect for these guys and admiration, really. You know, as a law enforcement officer, we face danger every single day of our lives. These guys face danger every single day of their lives when they get on that bull. And so there's a lot of parallelisms, in my opinion, from that perspective. It's a dangerous deal, and I'm like Cody. I've had many terrible injuries from mostly broncs and horses that have done stuff to me. You know, broken back, broken neck, certain things. Because I understand how hard it is to come back from those injuries.
And you get back on, both of you.
Yeah, I think that really is what it is. I think that's kind of the cowboy deal. I don't know if it's just it's a mentality that you grow up with, and that you're drawn to it. You're drawn to that adrenaline. You're drawn to the excitement. You're drawn to becoming better than the next person, or that you're overcoming those obstacles. And I think it's tremendous. And I think what the PBR has done to build this program over 25 years really is unparalleled. It's unmatched, unprecedented. And I have, again, nothing but respect for these guys, and they truly are in the most dangerous sport in the world. There's no referee, so to speak. There's no whistle that can be blown to stop the action. Once that gate opens, it's them and the bull fighters to come in and help save them at the end. And my gosh, it's probably it is the most exciting sport in the world. And again, to have them here is just it's always a real pleasure for me and the people that I associate with.
Yeah, well, it's exciting, you know, and Sheriff, you can probably relate. It's a dangerous job what you're in, and you're dealing with crazy people. We're dealing with crazy bulls.
Yeah, true, true.
You know, and I like to say bull riding's kind of like life. You know, it has its ups and downs and its twists and turns, and sometimes they're going to throw you. You just got to keep getting back up, right?
Yeah, no, it really is that way, and I think that's what it's all about. And I think that having that focused commitment, when we look at parallel bull riders and law enforcement officers, I mean, they go in when everybody else is going the other way. They go in.
That's right.
And they take it on, and some guys don't walk away from it.
Yeah,
you know, some do, some don't. But it doesn't deter them. And these bull riders, they've lost friends. They've lost friends to injuries. They've lost friends to death. But it doesn't deter what they want to do.
Right. Starts this weekend, right?
Yes, sir. Starts Saturday night.
Yeah, it's Saturday night at 6:45 and Sunday at 3:45 at the Nampa Ford Idaho Center.
Well, Cody, welcome to Idaho again. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you, sir.
I
don't know
what else is there to say,
Ed's,
right?
Capitol Hill, Sheriff Donahue. We
Well,
appreciate you, sir.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it. And if you're coming out Saturday, wear purple. Support these guys.
Your website, Man Up Crusade.
ManUpCrusade.com.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all you do for that.
Thanks, brother.
Make sure
Appreciate
you
it.
go.
You're listening to Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
And I believe we're waiting for Rachel Sutherland to join us from Fox News Radio. We also have Hank and Pete holding. We're going to get to them in a couple minutes. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Still plenty of time for you to join us at Ed's 50s Cafe, having a great time. Wonderful celebrating the PBR coming to town and sharing breakfast. And if you can't make it to Ed's 50s Cafe today, they're open till, 2 every day, lunch specials. It's a wonderful time, particularly here in Meridian, Idaho. If you're new to the area and you're looking for something local and original, well, you can't go wrong with Ed's. So what we will do now, I guess we're waiting for Rachel Sutherland. If we get her, good. If not, we will go to the calls. Let's start with Hank. Hank, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Hank.
Good morning. There's a consistent policy among both the Democrats in Washington and also their media acolytes in the favor the Islamic Brotherhood. The more radical the Islamic group, the more they seem to be in favor. Well, a good example would be Peter Jennings. For many years, he was.
Well, Peter Jennings was a good guy. Hank, please stand by for a second. I apologize. We'll get back to Hank in literally 3 minutes. Hank, hang on, please. We want to hear what you have to say. Let's just cancel Rachel. Back to, please. Thank you, Ray. All right, Hank, go ahead.
Okay. And for many years, he slept with the Palestinian PLO spokesman, Anna Hafwari, and of course vilified Ariel Sharon when the Israelis invaded Lebanon back in 1983 and consistently favored the Islamic Brotherhood. And the Stogie is a brotherhood, and the Islamic Brotherhood has been the most vicious against American and Western interests in the Middle East. When Hillary was Secretary of State, she favored the Islamic Brotherhood in Libya, and of course the overthrow of Gaddafi led to what happened later on, and those people and the ambassador getting killed over there in Libya. The same thing with Obama, this great dream of turning Iran into the Middle Eastern power broker, which is insane from Western thing, but this seems to be an obsession. The more radical the Islamic group, the more the mainstream media and their fellow Democrats seem to like it. And then to me, it's very, very strange, and it's very, very dangerous to me. But that's something I've never been able to fully understand or grasp what their obsession is with radical Islam.
Hank, that's a very good point. We appreciate that. Thank you for the call and letting us know who Peter Jennings was sleeping with.
Yes,
That's in-depth team coverage you're not going to hear anywhere else in America, folks.
That's right. Bye.
That isn't first-hand reporting now, is it, Hank? Hank? Let's go to Pete in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you?
I am living the dream. We're on the road in beautiful Meridian, Idaho, having a great time, and always great to be back on the road. And you?
I'm doing well. I had a senior moment. We have lunch at you taking Brad Little, me taking Paulette Jordan. What is the name of the place that we're going to?
Well, Pete, I think you were very reluctant to go outside the city-state of Boise, I believe. I'm more of a Treasure Valley guy, so.
Okay, well,
do you want to reserve it for Boise, or do you want to go out in God's country, the Treasure Valley?
I would prefer Boise.
Well, how about this? If you win, we go to Boise. If I win, we go to Meridian.
Oh, okay. It sounds like you're having a great breakfast and a great time today.
Well, Pete, it sounds like you're going to come to Meridian, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll we'll have lunch here at Ed's 50s Cafe. How about that?
Oh, that sounds great. And if people want to bet on this election with me, I'll look like the great pumpkin. I'll be wearing a Hunter Orange Carhartt sweatshirt, Hunter Orange Carhartt watch cap. So I'll be easy to spot. And I bought a little ledger book at Walmart last night, so I'm all set. And one last thing.
Now, hold on. And for people just tuning in, Pete, you have said at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, that you believe that Paulette Jordan is going to beat Brad Little. It's not even going to be close.
And not even close.
And you've had people call this show challenge you.
Well,
are you willing to take more bets? I mean, this is not a gambling show. This is a family-friendly show. But
it is, and I need to cover the payoff amount on my mortgage, which is $68,412.17. And I took the unusual step to ensure victory of calling Bert Marley, who is the chairman of the Idaho Democratic Party, and I've asked him to sit this one out. They've lost 6 in a row, and if they get involved, we'll be eating lunch in Meridian.
let me just share with you one more time, because it's very unusual that someone of your conviction would call in with such a prediction. In 30 seconds, give us why you believe that Paulette Jordan will beat Brad Little.
I have the utmost respect for Brad Little, and he's well known across the state and would be a great, at least a competent governor. Paulette Jordan is totally different from the usual candidate that the Democrats produce. She's tough, articulate, striking, and she's going to give Brad Little a run for his money. And it's a very unpredictable race for the Republicans. This is not the typical candidate that the Democrats produce, and she's very much an anomaly.
Hey, Pete, you there?
Oh, yes, I am here. So,
why doesn't she wear a
anyway,
dress?
That's it in a nutshell. And
Pete,
her
why doesn't she wear a dress, Pete?
I'm asking her to wear a dress for.
You and me both. We're in agreement. She should wear a dress.
She looks good in boots and denims and a blouse, but I'm curious to see her legs, to be honest with you.
That's what you look for in a gubernatorial candidate, her legs?
No, but it seems cryptic. It seems mysterious. But anyway, we're straying from the point. She's very. I thought she did exceptionally well in the debate with Brad Little.
Look, unless she wears a dress, she's done.
No, she doesn't have to wear a dress. Brad Little doesn't have to wear a dress.
If he wore a dress, he would be done.
He would be done in Idaho. I'm predicting that this turnout will set records not for Idaho, but for the United States. It's going to be the most exciting election of my lifetime, of your lifetime.
No, the most exciting election of my lifetime was 2 years ago.
I predict after this one, you'll be saying this was more exciting than Trump Hillary, and to me,
I predict we'll be having steak and eggs in Meridian.
I love steak and eggs. I prefer to have it here in Boise, however.
Well, Pete, appreciate your conversation and your fixation with Paulette Jordan's legs this morning.
And if people want to look for me, sometimes I'm at Merritt,
right.
Sometimes I'm other places, but they can find find me.
The guy that
And,
looks like the Great Pumpkin. I can relate, Pete.
you have a wonderful morning. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Pete. You're a great sport. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So you heard it from Pete. He's ready to make some bets. And most notably, I was talking about this at home. Why doesn't Paulette Jordan wear a dress? Terry, you're going to take that on?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Is that too much to ask?
In
In the era of Me Too?
I would really have to sort through my answer here and make sure that I was very diplomatic and the gentleman about it.
Well, at least you didn't say what Pete did. He wanted to see her legs. Now, I will say I'm good with not seeing Brad Little's legs.
Well, now, that's a whole different subject. I'd like to see Tea Party Bob's legs. I understand that he's really working out, and he's starting to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean...
Well, thank you for hijacking the topic.
Throw that into the mix.
580-5436. Let's go to Christian in Weiser from Ed's 50s Cafe here in Meridian. Good morning, Christian.
Hey, good morning. So I'd like to make a bet with Pete. As he stated, they lost the last 6 times. So, Pete, I'll tell you what. Here's the bet. If Brad Little wins, then you're going to have to concede that the people of Idaho are conservative, want conservative leaders in there, and for the rest of your time have to not only vote conservative, but encourage everyone you know to vote conservative. Now, if Paulette Jordan wins, I'm willing to put it out there that I will vote, it's hard to get this out. I will vote Democrat for the rest of my time and try and encourage people to vote Democrat. You think you'll pick that bet?
Well, we'll find out. If you see somebody that Kevin Miller that looks like the Great Pumpkin in Boise, that's Pete.
All right. I
Hey, Christian,
appreciate
good
it.
to hear from you. It's been a while.
Hey, Harrison. Hey, I wanted to say something real quick. We've been talking about the pot, and they wanted to legalize it. I just saw an article this morning that said that there's been an increase in traffic accidents in every single state that has legalized recreational marijuana. And here's what really bothers me. I have had to, at times with my job, sit across from the dispensary in Huntington, 99% of the place, and it's a constant stream, we're talking hundreds, probably 1,000 people go through there every day. 99% of the place are Idaho plates. And I don't understand why something's not being done about it, why they're not catching these people coming back across the border. And the majority of those Idaho plates are from Boise or Ada in Canyon County. So,
Well, apparently we have a lot of people smoking the dope here, don't we?
Yeah. So if we could see maybe an increase in traffic accidents here, maybe they'd have something to investigate as to the reason why. Kind of sad.
Christian, thank you for that. I'm going to take that up in a minute. And to the guy driving in the topsoil truck, we appreciate you listening. You're listening to Kevin Miller from Ed's 50s Cafe, only on KIDO Talk Radio.
For the president, Trump responded, "You can take it any way you want." What other way is there to take horseface? Hey, it's a compliment. Did you know that every single winner of the Kentucky Derby had a horse face?
You guys see this? During his meeting in the Oval Office, Kanye took out his cell phone, and you can actually see his passcode when he typed it in. What's this?
Most amazing car. And what we want to start with is, I brought a gift with me right here.
0000000. Then Trump said, "Hey, that's the same passcode I use for the nuclear codes."
Our president sat down with the Associated Press, and it started on friendly terms, with the interview saying, "Thank you for doing this." To which Trump replied, "What are you going to do in 6.5 years with a normal, boring person here?" I don't know, dance in the streets?
And there we have it, the late-night comedians doing nothing but talking about politics. Good morning, Kevin Miller here, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. If you missed our interview with Cody Evans of the PBR with Canyon County Sheriff Kieran Donahue, you can always go to KIDOTalkRadio.com for our podcasts. Thanks to Ram I, they get up within the hour after the program, and they're commercial-free. And you will love to check that out, what it takes to ride a bull, the injuries. It is amazing. We look forward to that. We look forward to welcoming the PBR here to the Treasure Valley. My friend Kent Goldthorpe, who says, can we stay on the air, Kent? If we're off the air, give me a call to let me know. But back to this issue that Christian brought up, this issue of legalizing marijuana. We talked about it yesterday. Canada's legalized it, but he said, look, sometimes in Oregon, he sees a lot of Ada County plates, a lot of Canyon County plates. And should authorities in Idaho start monitoring what's going on in Oregon and pulling people over? Of course, that would be a violation of probable cause, wouldn't it? Just going to Oregon would not necessarily mean you're having a good time with the marijuana.
There is no question that the world is watching Canada.
There we have it from the breaking news yesterday that the Canadians are lighting it up and packing their bowls.
We introduced the Cannabis Act because we know that strict prohibition does not work. Under the previous approach, it was easier for a teenager to gain access to a joint than a bottle of beer. Well, as we said, criminals reap huge profits.
Right, but you take a look at what's going on in Colorado and in Oregon. I think there was a story yesterday where the black market marijuana rings continue. We've heard the same argument here in the Gem State, most notably from you that want to legalize pot.
There is no question that the world is watching Canada.
Right, and ending the prohibition will make things better because, hey, we'll get a lot of money.
We introduced the Cannabis Act because we know that strict prohibition does not work. Under the previous approach, it was easier for a teenager to gain access to a joint than a bottle of beer. Well, as we said, criminals reap huge profits.
Right, just because they're selling it legally, their logic would mean that the criminals are just going to go away and get real jobs and not be criminals. If that were the case, they wouldn't be criminals. And once again, taking your phone calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, concerning what happened in Canada and whether or not it should happen here in Idaho.
We recognize the unfair impact that the prohibition had on marginalized and racialized communities across this country. That's one of the reasons why we're moving forward with a system that will control and regulate the sale of marijuana. That's also why we're moving forward on a pardon system that will be free and fast in order to make sure that the stigma of a criminal record does not follow these disproportionately marginalized people for the rest of their lives.
Always be careful when people speak in multi-syllable words. Half the time, they don't know what they mean. And I resemble that comment like my predecessor. And if you get that joke, you really need to get a life. That's a reference to Paulette Jordan calling Brad Little her predecessor, which means I don't know what that means. Anyway, back to the point here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Can anybody make sense of what that Canadian lawmaker said? Think about that for a minute. We'll talk more. We're here at Ed's 50s Cafe till 9. Would love to see you, number one. Number two, coming up, the NFL commissioner weighs in on the national anthem. NFL ratings are up. Are you down with watching the NFL? And I think the other day they actually showed the players singing the national anthem, which is reassuring. One thing I want to say while we're here, and I can tell there's always a different energy when we're on location, whether it's Miller's Mission, which will be coming up November 12th through the 17th at the Garrity Walmart. Once again, thanks to Camping World, Team Mazda Subaru, and the Boise Rescue Mission. Just appreciate being out, and those of you on your way to work, thank you. Thank you for supporting your family and our country. We appreciate you. Good morning.